Ethan never thought much about small things. He never noticed who always liked his photos first, who remembered his favorite coffee order, who asked how his day went when nobody else cared, or who smiled a little too brightly whenever he walked into a room. For him, those things meant nothing. For Ava, they meant everything. They met during their first year at university. At first, they were simply classmates. Then they became friends, and eventually, they became the kind of friends who spoke almost every day. Ethan trusted her. He shared his dreams with her, his fears, his frustrations, the things he never told anyone else. Ava listened to every word, and somewhere along the way, without even realizing it, she became emotionally attached to him. The strange thing about emotional attachment is that it doesn't happen all at once. It happens quietly, slowly, like rain filling a river one drop at a time. One day you care about someone. The next day you find yourself thinking about them. Then suddenly they become part of your daily routine. Part of your happiness. Part of your heart. Ava never planned for it to happen. It simply did. Every morning she looked forward to his messages. Every evening she wondered how his day had gone. If he was happy, she felt happy. If he was sad, she felt sad. His emotions somehow became her emotions. Yet Ethan remained completely unaware. To him, Ava was his closest friend. Nothing more, nothing less. One evening they sat together outside the university library. The sun was setting. Students walked past them laughing and talking. Ethan was scrolling through his phone. Suddenly he smiled. Ava noticed immediately. "What's making you smile?" she asked. Ethan looked up. "There's this girl." The moment those words left his mouth, Ava felt her heart sink. But she forced herself to smile. "Oh, yeah." For the next 10 minutes Ethan talked excitedly about another girl. How beautiful she was. How funny she seemed. How much he wanted to ask her out. Ava listened quietly. Every word felt like a knife. But she never showed it. Because that's what emotionally attached people often do. They hide their pain behind a smile. That night Ava cried herself to sleep. Not because Ethan had done anything wrong, but because she realized something painful. She had fallen for someone who didn't see her the same way. Weeks passed. Ethan eventually started dating the girl. Her name was Sophia. At first he seemed happier than ever. Ava tried her best to support him. She gave advice, listened to stories, pretended everything was fine, but deep down, every conversation hurt. Still, she couldn't walk away. Because emotional attachment isn't something you switch off like a light. Sometimes your heart stays where it wants to stay, even when you know it shouldn't. Months later, Ethan and Sophia began having problems. The arguments became frequent. Trust started breaking. Eventually the relationship ended. Ethan was devastated. For weeks he barely left his apartment. He stopped answering friends, stopped going out, stopped smiling. But Ava stayed. She always stayed. Every day she checked on him. Every day she listened. Every day she reminded him that life would get better. Slowly, Ethan started recovering. One evening they were walking through a quiet park. The air was cool. The trees swayed gently in the wind. Without warning, Ethan stopped walking. "I don't know what I'd do without you." Ava looked at him. Her heart raced. For a brief moment she wondered if maybe he finally saw her. Maybe after all this time something had changed. Then Ethan smiled. "You're like the sister I never had." The words shattered every hope she had been holding onto. She smiled anyway, because sometimes the strongest heartbreak is the one nobody sees. That night she made a decision. She needed distance. Not because she hated him. Not because she was angry. But because she was losing herself. Loving someone who doesn't love you back can slowly drain every piece of your heart. The next morning she sent him a message. "I think I need some time for myself." Ethan replied immediately. "Everything okay?" "Yeah, just need some space." He respected her decision. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. For the first time in years, Ava stopped being part of Ethan's daily life. At first he didn't think much about it. People get busy. Life changes. It happens. But something felt different. The good news he wanted to share first always reminded him of her. The funny stories he wanted to tell someone always reminded him of her. The difficult days felt strangely empty. He began noticing things he had never noticed before. Nobody remembered his coffee order anymore. Nobody checked on him after stressful exams. Nobody sent random messages just to make him smile. Nobody cared in the same way Ava did. For the first time, Ethan felt her absence. Really felt it. One evening he opened their old conversations. Thousands of messages appeared. Years of friendship. Years of memories. As he scrolled through them, something strange happened. He began seeing things differently. Little details he had ignored before. Messages she sent when he was sad. Encouragement during difficult times. The way she always put his happiness before her own. The way she remembered everything about him. The way she was always there. No matter what. For hours he read those conversations. And slowly, a realization began forming. A realization that made his chest tighten. What if Ava had loved him all along? The thought wouldn't leave his mind. The next day he called her. No answer. He sent a message. No reply. For the first time in years, Ethan found himself chasing someone. The same way she had silently chased him. Days later she finally answered. Hey, can we meet? There was a long pause. Then she replied. Okay. They met at a small cafe they used to visit together. When Ava walked in, Ethan immediately noticed something different. She looked happier, healthier, stronger. Like someone who had finally found peace. For a moment neither spoke. Then Ethan took a deep breath. I owe you an apology. Ava looked confused. For what? For not seeing you. She remained silent. Ethan continued. For years you were there for me. His voice shook. And I never realized how much you cared. Ava looked away. The memories still hurt. I don't blame you. But I blame myself. The cafe became quiet. Ethan leaned forward. I think I've been the biggest idiot on the planet. A small laugh escaped Ava's lips. The first genuine laugh of the evening. Ethan smiled. Then he said something he never imagined saying. When you left, I started noticing everything. Ava stared at him. The little things. The way you always remembered what mattered. The way you cared. The way you made every bad day feel easier. His eyes met hers. And I realized something. Ava's heart pounded. What? Ethan took a deep breath. I wasn't missing my best friend. He paused. I was missing the person I loved. For a moment neither moved. Neither spoke. The world seemed to stop. Ava couldn't believe what she was hearing. For years she had imagined those words. Dreamed about them. Cried over them. And now they were finally real. Tears filled her eyes. Ethan, I know I'm late. A sad smile appeared on his face. Very late. Ava laughed. Through her tears. Very late. They both laughed. The tension slowly disappeared. Then Ethan became serious again. I don't expect you to feel the same way anymore. The words hurt him to say. But I needed you to know. Ava looked at him quietly. For several seconds she said nothing. Then she smiled. A real smile. The kind that comes from the deepest part of the heart. You know what's funny? What? I spent years waiting to hear that. Ethan felt hope returning. And now, Ava looked directly into his eyes. Now I'm finally ready to believe it. Months later they would often talk about how strange life can be. How some people enter your life loudly. And leave just as quickly. While others quietly become part of your soul. The truth was simple. Ava had become emotionally attached long before Ethan realized it. She had loved him through ordinary moments. Through conversations. Through friendship. Through silence. And in the end, those feelings proved stronger than anything else. Because real love isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it begins with small acts of kindness. Small conversations. Small moments nobody notices. Until one day, those small moments become the most important story of your life. And as Ethan held Ava's hand while walking home beneath the evening sky, he finally understood something he should have realized years earlier. The people who truly love you rarely make the most noise. Sometimes they simply stay, until you finally learn how much they mean.